You know, we've talked a lot about the $6 billion project to build 2 new bridges across the Columbia River from Portland to Vancouver, or Vancouver to Portland, depending on your point of view. But we've not spent much time talking about all the interchanges that are also going to be impacted. You know, those are the on-ramps and off-ramps to the freeway. It is going to be a big deal. So tonight, a deep dive into the not so sexy but very important topic, freeway interchanges. Oh yes, it is our big story. Those big bridges across the river are going to be in the spotlight for most of this project if it does get built, and we kind of hope that it does. But those on-ramps and off-ramps near the bridge, well, they're a really big deal on their own. There will be 7 of them that are changed, and they are a full half of the overall cost of the bridge replacement project. So that's something like $3 billion. Sounds like a lot for a curvy road that connects to the freeway and the bridge, right? Well, turns out there's a bit more to it than that. The bridge project team recently put out a pair of YouTube videos that go through the plans in close detail. Here's our bridge expert, Anthony Masuk.
The Interstate Bridge replacement team uses animated arrows to illustrate every possible pathway that drivers can take to get on and off of I-5 near the Columbia River, and how those pathways could be different. A lot of the traffic movements will stay pretty similar, and some may actually get less complicated. Let's explain. Take this upgraded Marine Drive interchange, for example. If you're getting onto I-5 at Marine Drive, you won't be contending with loops anymore, just left and right turns at an intersection. But there are some changes where you might look at the before and after and wonder, wait, why are we doing this? Let's say you're trying to get from Marine Drive to Victory Boulevard. Right now, it's easy to just hop on I-5 for one exit and then hop back off. After the Interstate Bridge upgrade, not so much. The same goes for getting onto I-5 South from Hayden Island, which would involve crossing a separate bridge to the Oregon mainland and then passing through multiple intersections beneath the freeway to get to an on-ramp. Some other movements will still be pretty straightforward, but stretched out. If you're on I-5 South and exiting at 4th Plain in Vancouver, it's still a straight shot, but the exit ramp will start all the way back to the north of the SR 500 interchange. We asked the IBR project team to walk us through the reasoning behind some of these changes. One thing they stressed to begin with, none of these plans are locked in. They're early concepts being studied right now as part of the federal environmental review process. They can still be adjusted, and public feedback is part of that process. They want to hear from you. The team said a lot of the adjustments are aimed at addressing a core problem with this stretch of I-5. Too many interchanges spaced too close together, in some cases overlapping.
That creates the friction, either causing slowing or the safety concerns where people take chances and make decisions quickly, maybe not look over their shoulder when changing lanes.
The corridor's crash rate is about 3 times the state average, according to the team, and backups on the freeway tend to radiate out into the surrounding city streets on both sides of the river. Okay, you might say, so just get rid of a couple interchanges.
It's not as simple as taking away these movements because people are dependent on those movements and they are providing a function today. It's an urban area. Each one has their own unique function.
So without being able to take any of the interchanges out, the project is left with trying to make all 7 play nicer with each other. And that's what's driving some of the bigger changes. Remember the new super long exit ramp to 4th Plain Boulevard? The reason for that ramp is to separate the stream of cars heading off I-5 onto 4th Plain from the stream of cars heading onto I-5 from SR 500. These kinds of long freeway ramps are called braided ramps, and they can be used to reduce the amount of overlap between exits that are spaced too close together. I-5 northbound already has one such ramp that jumps 4th Plain traffic over Mill Plain. The IBR plan would add a couple more throughout the corridor. In some cases, the plan is to redirect short trips away from the freeway altogether, again with the goal of decreasing the number of merges on I-5. Remember how we said that traveling from Marine Drive South to Victory Boulevard would get more complicated? That's because the trip no longer involves getting on I-5 at all. The need to get some local trips off the freeway is also the reason for one of the biggest peripheral pieces of the project, a local bridge from Hayden Island to the Oregon mainland.
What we heard from the community is there's no other way of getting off the island, on the island, other than the interstate. So that contributes to the local arterial bridge where you have a different way of getting on and off
The most complex rebuild by far will be the interchange immediately north of the main bridge, where SR14 connects with I-5 and both freeways connect with downtown Vancouver. We don't know yet whether the new bridge will be a drawbridge like the current one or a fixed span, which means it doesn't move. It ultimately depends on what the Coast Guard is okay with, but the IBR team is pushing for a fixed span, which means it will be very high up. And that's why the new SR14 interchange is illustrated a bit like a 3-layer cake. On the ground layer, there's the Vancouver street grid, which will be rebuilt through the space once the freeway has been moved up. On the middle layer, there are various ramps to connect with SR14 and downtown Vancouver, and on the top layer is the main viaduct carrying I-5 and the light rail line up to the bridge. Several ramps will connect to different places on Vancouver's street grid than they do now. According to the project team, that's partly down to trying to make traffic flow smoothly, but there's also a practical consideration.
We have to be able to build this while keeping traffic moving on the freeway in 3 lanes in each direction through our peak hours in the entire duration of the program. So not only do we have to develop our design so that it's great and reconnects, we have to consider how that's able to be constructed while still having traffic move through the program.
Finally, see that big green paperclip on the left? That's the ramp that will carry bikes and pedestrians up to the new bridge. Why so long and loopy? Because the team doesn't want it to be steeper than about a 4.5% grade, but it needs to get 116 feet into the air. If you can't go steep, you have to go long, but it also can't go very far away because the team wants Vancouver's rapidly developing waterfront to be the hub for connecting with the bridge. That's why there's a light rail station there too, up on level 3.
This is where trade-offs come back into play. In order to get bicycle and pedestrian active transportation down to the waterfront, we need to make something like this, either a ramp that go down to the waterfront or something like elevators, escalators, stairs. Those trade-offs decisions all have to be made in order to get to active transportation on the waterfront.
Anthony Masuk, KGW News.
Thanks, Anthony. Great stuff. Hey, if you have comments on the proposed interchange designs, or maybe you have a question about the bridge project that you'd like Anthony to look into, please let us know. By the way, we've already done that question, why don't they build a tunnel under the river? You can find that on our YouTube channel. But anything else, send it our way. The email is thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail, 503-226-5090.